up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Town Hall Meeting with the Mayor. I am your host, Eugene Man Roberts, and I just want to thank you guys for tuning in yet again. So, you know how this goes. I sit down and talk to some of my favorite people and some people that are just your favorite people. First up is my homegirl, music director, keyboard player. Well, she's a multi-instrumentalist, actually. She does everything. But give it up for my homegirl, Tracy. Hey, everybody, I told y'all, I always got somebody cool, and got my sister here. We connected some years ago.
Hey, what up?
Connected. This is my sis. Tracy, what's up? What we doing? What's going on with you?
What's up, man? Listen, I don't think I've seen you since, like, NAMM 2019, I think. And I got receipts. I got a picture.
You got receipts? Uh-oh, we got some receipts. Hey, y'all, hold on. A pause for the receipts right about now. Here we go. So, what's on? What's going on? What you doing? What you up to?
Man, today I'm home. I'm actually off. I've been working almost every day. It's a blessing to like be busy during this time, for real. I don't take that for granted. But today is just about being here and cooking hamburgers at some point. Like once we get off this.
Hashtag goals.
Yes. I cook too. I use my hands for other things. You know?
Y'all hear that, y'all? She cooked too. You know what I'm saying? We multi-talented around here.
Yeah, so, man, but it's good.
This is a question I like to ask people. What new trade did you pick up throughout this whole time of being home? Because I feel like everybody picks up something new. Like
you know what? Okay, I might answer this in a tricky way, but I picked up the trade of rest. Like, in a real way. You know how we run, and even when we're not on the road, we are still running, trying to catch up with like, yo, I've been sleeping so good, man. It's like, what I've been doing, like,
yeah. Like this is this is what I've been missing out on when I told my friends they were lazy. They were actually enjoying sleep.
Yeah, no, I love the work. Don't get me wrong, but like for real, it's this rest, man. It's a cool trade. Yeah. I'm into it.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. I've been getting into video and like I like to cook. So like I try to find something.
Say that again.
I haven't learned before. I love to cook actually. So like I get into things where, you know, I try to go back to the basics. I like to go back to the basics and make sure, you know, I'm good on all the things. You know, you want to be able to make a whole Thanksgiving dinner. So you want to make sure your mac and cheese is lit, your fried.
I made mac and cheese on Sunday. I did.
Yeah, I got like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and then now I'm stuck in sushi land.
Yo, you get out my life. I had sushi last night.
Yeah, I've been in sushi land. And I've been making sushi.
Yeah.
So it's been like a thing. Hold on, where's my sushi picture? Hold on. Y'all gonna hold on for this one.
Cue the sushi picture.
Now, cue the sushi roll. Cue the sushi. Oh, look at that. What?
You better be so serious. Look at that.
You know what I'm saying?
Man, sushi.
Yeah. So. I know you put out like a cool video with a couple of the homegirls, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So what's been the thought process? Because I know a lot of people like have been collaborating throughout this time, which is pretty cool. So one, what was it like collaborating and like first of all, it was a dope video like that y'all did. I don't even know. Guide us through the process, how y'all came up with it. And then the part two of it is, who would you want to collaborate with if you could during this time virtually?
Okay. Oh, that's a good question. So the first thing we did, the Don't Rush Challenge. And with that, Roland didn't ask us to do it, but I'm like, I want to show love to the company that's shown me and my people that I work with so much love. So let's flip it. We're not doing anything that's like really keeping us away from, you know, doing something cool and productive. So I was like, I want to do it, but in a way that hasn't been done. Everybody's doing Don't Rush, but they, you know, hopping into somebody else's screen, throwing airbrushes or makeup brushes. I said, I want to do it in a way that's highlighting women in music, but without flipping. We came on already ready because I ain't want to be looking crazy. And then I was like, yo, why don't I just get my friends that I know play other instruments to have some affiliation with Roland? Yeah. So I handpicked these 3 other ladies. There were, you know, some others I was trying to consider, but it was just something about these 3 in particular.
Yeah.
And
a vibe is a vibe.
Yeah, and they were so down to do it. I was trying to get their cash apps and like try to do something because I know this is gonna be great. It's like, no, we just want to do it. And it hit, and we were not expecting the responses that we got. Like it took us for real. It took us 2 months to do it because everybody's schedule was like crazy. Granted, for just a minute and 8 seconds of a song, it took us that long. But we did all, for the most part, the arranging was between Shayi and myself, and the other girls put their input. I mixed it. I went to school for music engineering, by the way. So that's that.
Shout out. See, that's another thing. If y'all need something mixed, you know what I'm saying? Hit up Trace. You know, she got y'all good.
Well, hold on.
Oh, why?
No, for real.
If she got time, why she not sleeping? I don't know.
You know, but for real, so it was cool to like use our own gifts between, you know, amongst the four of us. Like, why not? We're not going to outsource and have to pay somebody if we can make this cool for Instagram. And like from there, we just been getting calls to do other things. And it's like, you never know, those ideas you have in your heart that might seem just a one-time thing can open up so much more.
And this is the internet. I call it the blessing and curse of the internet. It's like a digital resume. That's what I call it, because you know you could put the right things out there, you could put the wrong things out there. I've seen some wrong things that have gotten people not called back.
It's unforgiving, you know.
Yeah, it's very unforgiving. Yeah, you can get a lot of views for doing something great, or you can get a lot of views for doing something crazy. You know.
Yeah.
So that was that. So actually, and that's another trade that you probably didn't understand. You learned how to not outsource. Because what happens is when we're out moving and, you know, it's like, you know, I'll get so-and-so to do that. I don't want it. Now it's just like, you might even not have the time, but it's still like, I mean, I got nothing but time. Where am I going? And, I've adapted, you know, taking the most and making the most out of my time, AKA maximizing my 24, because, you know, without being on a plane, you know, for 5 hours, losing communication for 5 hours, that's like work you're not doing. So now it's like when you can only do 2 things in a day, now we got time. I could do 6 things in the day. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And I've been getting into the videos. But
I was going to say, to that point also, you were saying like outsourcing. It's one thing to outsource to your homies, but like I didn't really know these girls that well. So it's like, I know we have our people we call on, but I also want to try to help, you know, give something to somebody else's life. Like, you know, that pushes me to my next point. Well, actually, before I go there, you got to answer I got to answer another question.
Yes.
God, put me on the spot. So, who would I like to collab with? Okay, well, easily Man would be one. I don't know if you heard of him, but
that's done. I don't know who that is, but we gonna find him. We gonna hook that up.
We family now. But if I wanted to collab with oh God. You know what? I'll say this. It's an artist I would love to work with. Okay. And that would be Billie Eilish. She's got some really dope stuff, like, and it's simple, but it's beautiful. Like the content of her music, the musicality. Right. She recorded it in GarageBand, if I'm not mistaken. I was like, that's cool. I would like to collab with her. And just on a musician one, see, I'm gonna get in trouble now. So I'm gonna keep it there.
But the thing about it is, you know, you put it out there, and you never know it's gonna happen. So that's the thing, you know. It's you know.
We'll circle back if it hits me, because I want it, because it's something brewing right here.
All right, well, whoever that person is, she's gonna reach out. We're gonna make this happen.
Yeah. So, you know who you are. You know
who you are. But okay, so let's segue to this. Let's talk about relationships and, you know, in the industry and just in the world, and how important they are, and just like your take on them. Because like you said, you know, you chose those other 3 young ladies for a reason, you know, and it's not nothing against anyone else, but it's a thing where, you know, I told people, now is the time where you can either build relationships, create relationships, or simply just mess them up. So, you know, you took a chance to build a relationship with some people, which is great. You know what I mean? So, like I said, you can expound upon that a little bit, just relationships and importance.
So relationships are the reason why I got my first gig with music. That's
Mm.
that's right there. So
That's our connection too. That's Philly. That's Philly. That's really Philly.
That's real Philly, you know.
I'll let you know what I'm saying.
You know, but it's simple, but it's not, but it's simple. The key for me was really just being cool with people. You know, I know this is a cliquish, you know, environment in the street to some degree, but when I auditioned for music, I didn't get the gig. I did not get the gig. And so they went on tour. 5 months later, one of the girls hit me up, was like, hey, you want to come hang out? I'm like, sure. They ain't say anything about it.
Mm-hmm.
Fast forward, they were really just kind of checking out my vibe. And we hanging out having ribs or something at the time.
Yeah.
I don't know, just chopping it up. And I wasn't thinking anything about a gig. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm hanging out with Music Soul Child's background singers and this bass player and drummer.
Yeah.
And that was it. I'm 21 at the time, or 22. So it's like, that's not even something I could see. I was just happy to audition. Fast forward, they were looking for a second keyboard player. Which is why they called me to hang out. So that was one thing. Then that led to me playing in like a corporate band who ended up getting me the job with Melanie Fiona, but relationships. It wasn't about being the best or the most skilled. It was about the relationships and being cool. Yeah. Same, every opportunity for the most part that I've had has been on a relationship one. And so I see how people were able to build me up, which is my intention behind setting up these other ladies, other guys, you know, in my community for the same opportunity to, like, you know, get into some stuff like that you may have not.
The reality of it is, you know, you can't cheat the system when it comes to personality and relationship. Yeah. So just as well as how you're explaining your situation, that's kind of almost what happened to me, to be totally honest. You know what I'm saying? Because, really? Like, I started in this industry as a drum tech and stage manager.
Wow.
With John, actually. In 2005.
Wow.
You know, so in every gig I've gotten has literally been, you know, an artist reaching out to the artist. Like when I got Snoop reached out to John.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Like, so it's like those type of things, and it's just like, yeah, it's a respect thing, you know, and it's just, I don't know, it's pretty cool though. I enjoy it. You know what I'm saying? But again, it's those relationships that make it all worth it. It's just so important, and I try to stress that to people, like even this, like us, we never hang out much, but this is we have a relationship like this, brother sisterhood. This is a vibe, you know what I mean? Yo, and it's like we start to realize there's so many similarities, you know?
Yeah, when you hit me for real, man, I was like, yo, he needs me to do something. I don't know what it is, but this is cool that he reached out. Like, just the value that I mean,
because I'm a person that is like, you work hard and you have a pure heart and intentions. Like, you know, like I'm a person that, like, I lead with love. Like, you know, you know me for a while and everybody knows that. Like, I'm gonna always show love to everybody because that's what it is. If you lead with love and you have pure intentions, the rest will follow. Like, you know what I'm saying? And that's not even getting spiritual and being deep. That's just literally what it is. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I like to ask people, even when I hire people for gigs, it's like, what's your intentions with this money? Yeah. What are your intentions with this popularity you may receive? What's the intentions? You know what I mean? And that's what really matters to me, because I want to make sure we now we get deep where it's like, now I want to make sure I'm sowing the right energy in the person. I want to make sure we sowing this money into the right person, because yes, you're good, but do you do the right things with it? You know, lifestyle is a big thing, you know, like
that's true.
Like even on social media, I'm big with what I post and what I don't post. Like I'm really big on that. I'm really big on what I like and don't like. You know what I'm saying? Like, just
for real. I don't know if you know, I'm a teacher, like on the side. Like I taught on a Montessori school, like as a substitute teacher, in addition to a piano teacher. So like along the way, like this year, I will say a new trade I've had was teaching virtual camp. So virtual piano lessons, and I've had like 10 students, my youngest being 4, the oldest was like 11 or 12. And it's like trying to keep everybody together in one session. You know, that was something different for me, rather than like being just with somebody next to me and I can be like, no, it's this. So that's been a cool trait. But I said all that to say, like, intentions. Obviously, we're doing really cool things on the road, but coming back home, for me, I find success when there's somebody that comes up under me and they learn something, you know, then they somewhat become a predecessor to what I've been doing, but it starts from like that little age. I love the kids, like I do. I kind of like teaching sometimes more than playing. Gotta be honest, you know.
I mean, because you foresee what you know they can do. You know what I'm saying? Like, I tell people all the time, like, no matter what you think, you are somebody's hero.
Yeah,
like, you really are. Like straight up. Whether it's the old lady that's sitting in the back pew at the church, whether it's the younger kid that comes to every single one of your camps because they saw you on stage with whoever, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and, you know, just like me outside looking in, like seeing some of the moves you make, like, I love it. I'm just like, oh, she's doing that, she's doing that. All right, cool. Then you bring it, you uniting the women, and like, it's cool to me. Like, I'm a watcher on the internet. A lot of times I may not be as present as people think I should be, but that's because I'm more of the, I'm watching, I'm seeing what's going on. Because by the end of the day, I try not to make any wrong moves. You know,
true.
And a lot of people understand.
Yeah.
Exactly. You know, and as an MD, it's like a lot of people, when they're like, what does a music director do? Da, 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 a lot of people miss out the one thing I say. My job is to think ahead of everyone else. And people miss that.
You know,
that's the only reason. And like, that's the biggest part of my John Legend gig is like, I got to think ahead of him. And dude is smart. Like, for real smart. He writes. He reads, he plays, he knows sports, he can cook, he knows politics,
nothing getting past him.
He really, so it's like you even like want to sharpen up on politics because you might be sitting in the dressing room with him for 30 minutes at an event. Like, you know what I'm saying? And like, it pushes you to be a better person. Like, you know what I'm saying? Here I am 15 years later and still working with John. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, like I took over MDing in 2008.
Wow.
Yeah.
You've been doing it a minute. I've had 2 MD jobs. That was between Melanie Fiona and Janelle Monáe. But to your point of being able to anticipate the needs, you're not just doing it for the artist, but you're doing it for the engineer who doesn't know that the pack fell off of the artist. You know, like you looking, you're the nurse.
The lights, you know, it's just so many different things, you know?
Yeah.
But it's just being ahead of the curve.
But I was saying, like, to your point of people watching your social media, it's not just about putting up the wrong things, but in addition, putting up the right things that will encourage, inspire, you know, expand their minds to like, oh, maybe I can do that. Miss Tracy said, you know, so that I constantly watch my social media. Lord knows, I'm like, I
always used to have this fear that, like, you know, this one person that's in charge of making the decision of me making X amount of dollars is like, oh man, I seen this guy on this thing taking shots and they were drinking, and you know, I lost a family member to a drunk driving accident, and it's like, so I can't pay them $1 million to do this project because I can't support that. You know what I mean? It's just like that's my thought process. A lot of times it's like, that's a little deep, but I'm like, hey, guess what?
I mean,
it happens. I literally was on a call with somebody and they were just like, you know, what's crazy is we look at the last 9 pictures on someone's Instagram to figure out who they are.
Wow. Okay. That changes a lot. Even perspective. Obviously, we know what our social media looks like, but I'm like, man, I feel good right now, though, based off of what my
he was like, hold on, I posted that. But if you think about it, though, within 9 pictures, that may be, some people it's one day, some people it's a week, some people it's a month. But those first 9 pictures, like, that's, what are the memes? What are you saying about women? What are you saying about a different race? What do you know, like that whole thing, like, you know, showing your productivity.
Wow.
And that was like a corporate. That was like a, you know, it was a little deep.
You're wise. You are wise, but I agree. I definitely agree to your point, though. That's
I mean, the reality of it is your name is going to be in a room before you physically are in a room. A lot of people don't really understand that. So those cosigns, those relationships, you know, like, you got to be able to vouch. Like, people, like you said, with the Music Soul Child thing, like, people knew you, but they didn't really know you. So it was like, all right, we got to see if we can hang out with this person, because are we going to be able to be on this tour bus together for 3 months?
Right. She going to be a diva.
Are you going to be that person that as soon as you come to the back of the bus, everybody goes to the front of the bus? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it happens. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, here they come. what do you want to watch? Because I know you don't want to watch this. Like, it's like that whole thing.
I was like, you know what? I was cool because they never said like you're just gonna do this tour and then that's gonna be it. I was wondering. I was like, now am I gonna be on after this 6-week run? Is so I was
right.
Out on the road, but I was like, I don't want to be a has been. Meanwhile, I'm now 11 years and a couple of months into touring, so it's like something was done right, and those relationships and networking obviously serve its purpose. And
I mean, you can tell like it's only a certain amount of us that we see all the time. Where it's like, if I pop up at what show did I see you at last?
Oh God, we were in was it Detroit?
No, you was in Philly.
That was Philly.
Didn't you do
It was Melanie Fiona.
No. Rockstar. What's her name? Robin Thicke was on the tour.
Yes, Fantasia. Yes.
Fantasia. Yes.
Yeah.
That was last year. That was recent.
So I did see you. Man, my mind.
Yeah, no, well, because it's those scenarios where it's just like I knew everybody's bands and everybody's like, you got to come through. So if you rewind back, when Robin Thicke was touring, when Evolution of Robin Thicke, Lost Without You, he was opening up for John when we were on the House of Blues tour.
Wow.
In the tour before that, Neo was opening up, promoting So Sick and all of those songs.
Full circle.
So full circle. So when it's like, that's how I knew Larry. That's how I knew LB. That's how I knew, all these people. So it's
shout out to the homies.
So of course I'm up. And then I knew Vaughn and all of them with Tank. And then I knew Tank from coming out on Guy and Blackstreet shows. And like this whole thing. So it's like, again, you see certain faces all the time because it's a big world, but this is a small, big industry based upon relationships and different things. A lot of times when I'm in Philly, like a lot of people hit me when they get here. Like, hey, listen, I was no way I'm coming to Philly without calling, that type of thing. And it's just like, that's what's supposed to happen because we have these relationships. If I pull up to Atlanta or I go to LA, it's certain people that you link with. That's just what it is. NAMM just got canceled. There is no NAMM this year. You know what I mean? So people got to figure it out. And I got a plan for that. So everybody stay tuned. But, we got some things going on. But before we get out of here, because, again, I love keeping my family on here because we talk forever. But then my editor, shout out to Joel. Joel be like, all right, bro. Okay. Not really. Like, sometimes I'll be like, so we make them 10 minutes or we make them 15? What do we make them 12? What do we do? I'm going to just talk. But before we get out of here, first of all, thank you for representing not only Roland, but just like as our people, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
As a woman doing it, like really doing it, you know what I'm saying? And staying consistent and giving back. Like nobody has to tell you to give back. You're teaching the kids, you're making the future brighter for us. Like, you know what I'm saying? Well, we can sit back and we will watch an episode like this of them. Like, like that's the goal.
Yeah.
You know but before we get out of here, what's something you want to tell the people? Like, what do you got coming up? What you working on? And if it's just something like, hey, guys, I want y'all to practice and do this. Like, whatever. Tell the people something.
Okay. So I'll start with what am I doing? I'm doing something for the first time that I've never done as an adult, and that is releasing my first single. It's going to be third quarter. So, this is a good time for everybody. We've been figuring out our best us while we've had time, if I could say that. And so I'm like, man, I got a few gifts and I would like to use them all. I grew up in church. I'm a PK. So I'm singing, I'm playing my trombone, my keyboard, and I had some guys to come in to play that I looked up to, and it's like, yo, these cats in Atlanta are like doing it. So I have a producer that I'm working with, and I'm excited. It's scary all at the same time and uncomfortable, but it feels great because it means I'm growing and I'm about to step in a different world, for myself. It's like, I'm not necessarily trying to tour the world, but I'm also not trying to be 80 years old and wish I would have just put something for so many other people. But if we could keep the same energy that we use to invest in other people, invest in ourselves, be realistic about what you want to do. Put in the work, and then put in the work that is necessary for the desired result. Okay. So, I mean, that's really it. That's why I'm doing it. I'm doing it for me. I'm doing it for the culture. I'm doing it for the next artist that's afraid to, like, you know, we're behind the scenes, but you're afraid to step on the other side of the board and like be in front of the mic. And it's just you on stage, or just you, you know, nobody's around to be that support.
I think it's very special when a musician or a background singer, anyone, has the chance to tour behind an artist, especially like on a higher caliber as well. Well, you know, I think it's good to do smaller and higher caliber. Like that's all. Like me, I love working with newer artists. Like I love it because how you teach kids, it's like teaching them how to tour, teaching them how to respect the stage, how to respect the staff, how to respect the sound engineers. Like that's our job.
Yes.
So if you always want to do gigs at this level, this gig is going to turn out to be a catastrophe when it gets to this level if no one is really helping making this grow.
Yeah.
So a lot of the artists I even worked with, like, have been from the beginning. Like I worked with from the beginning. I worked with
and you've grown with them. You've helped to shape their careers. And I don't know if people give credit to the people behind the scenes, but you're just as vital to them. They look to you for energy. They look to us for how we feeling, because they might not be feeling it that day, which I have
or we've been touring for years and this their first tour. They don't know that when you go to this city, you're supposed to eat here. When you're supposed to go visit there, you're supposed to go see that site. Like you know, we are the constant thing in this industry where it's like as this is like moving around, like they're like coming in on this cycle, and then when we jump around, they're out, then it's another artist that's, you know, it's like this whole thing. And it's like now that we're at home, people are starting to realize either you can record yourself or you can't, either you can mix your stuff or you can't, either you can shoot your own video or you can't. You know, it's like, you know, it's kind of the leveling playing field, but it's not. Like I guess I'm prepared either way.
My last thing, to your point of being prepared, my last thing is every day that you wake up, it's an audition. Somebody's watching you that you don't even know is watching you, and they're talking about you. And it may not happen this year, may not happen next week, or it could happen today. If you get up and walk out the house like, I'm auditioning today. It ain't, and even like, it ain't got to be about music, or because there's so many other facets of entertainment or just business that we can get into. So I tell my kids, I'm not trying to make you the professional keyboardist of a lifetime, but what I am doing is I'm teaching you life skills, and you just need to be prepared. Based
responsibility.
That we're learning here.
Responsibility and accountability. Like that's really what it is. Because by the end of the day, I tell people all the time, you could be 25. I can guarantee you, if I go on YouTube, I can find a 12-year-old that can outplay you.
Oh, easily.
But what they don't have is the experience.
Yeah. So
there's
get your audition on.
Like I said, thank you for your time and being a
you're welcome.
This won't be the last time. This won't be the last one. We whenever you want to come on, bring, like we was talking about before, bring the ladies on. We're gonna have a ladies night. You know what I'm saying?
Gotta get the ladies on.
You know what I'm saying? Tracy gonna co-host ladies night with me. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna do a two-part. We're gonna do it with the Don't Rush crew, and then we're gonna do it with another crew. We just do that. You know?
Let's do it.
That's what we gonna do.
Hey.
But like I said, thank you. I love you. You're my sister, man.
Love you too, bro. Thank you for having me.
No problem. We're gonna do a collaboration. I know you're working on your project, your record, so you got me whatever you need.
Okay.
This is documented.
Yes, at 4:01 Eastern Standard.
Yes, whatever time this airs, but yes.
Whatever time. Okay.
But yeah, people. Tracy, the great. I mean, what else can I say?
Oh man, I love
it. We out of here.
Take care. Peace.
Don't rush.
Yeah. Shout out to my sister Tracy, man. She's amazing. I'm sure you guys learned a lot about her. Hopefully you guys stay in tune to what she has coming up. Next up, I got a chance to tour this guy, man, around the world. And one of the first people I've actually toured with, like, you know, playing keys with. And he's an amazing guy, amazing friend, brother. Just great, man. Give it up for my bro, Young Wurld. Like I told y'all, I'm always gonna have some surprises, and this one right here is dear to my heart because this is one of the very first people I've ever toured with, and I was a little young scrappy, and he was whipping me in his chest, and shit. Give it up for my big bro, Young Wurld. What's up with you, bro?
Yo, what's up, bro? What's up, everybody tuning in? Thank y'all for being here. Thank y'all for supporting my brother at this platform, bro. Thank you for having me on. It's an honor, man. I was excited when you hit me because, you know, you're one of the ones that, like you said, I echo that sentiment. You're near and dear to my heart, man, because you meet people along the way and you bro, and you get cool, but it's like, man, we was there from the beginning for a long time. So love you, man. I'm thankful to be here.
Love you too, man. So let's just jump right in. Let's take a little history trip. Let's start here. Let's talk about the importance of us playing parts in the right sounds, especially working under Teddy. Let's just start there.
Yeah, I mean, the unique thing about working under Teddy is that he's not only the artist when you sign on to work for him when you get hired, but he's also the producer, which is unlike any other gig currently, unless you do have artists that say they dibble and dabble with production. But I'm talking about, man, bona fide producer, arguably one of the greatest of all time, created a whole genre of New Jack Swing. So it was such a hands-on experience. And I want to sidetrack for a minute because I want to be able to speak to the people that's listening to this. When you get with cats like myself or Man or anyone who comes from that school, it's not that we're trying to, one-up you or trying to make things difficult. It's that I really believe that thanks to Teddy Riley, we learned the real way to approach music. Because as a musician, he's going to show you where you can go. But as a producer, he's also going to show you what's just enough and what takes it not too far. And so you're basically enhancing the record from a sonic sound design point to even your part playing. Okay, you can play this and get away with this alter chord or get away with this, but keep it all there. He showed us the boundary and the limits of expanding a tune without taking it so far out the vein that now when the paying customer comes, they're like, okay, wait, what song is this? Yeah, they want to fall in love and have those memories. A lot of times, if you're really paying attention on musicians, your job is to not only make the artist happy, but give the people an experience. They'll leave, oh my God, I went to a so-and-so.
I always tell people, do not arrange for musicians. Do not. That's the person that actually wants a pass to come to the show. You want to arrange to the person paying for a ticket.
It's been times for the people that's listening that, let's say Man and I, we've been on stage playing Let's Chill, for example. And he's playing some sweet stuff. I'm playing. We're having a conversation. And for the musicians on the front row, they're doing it. But you also get the other thing where you might see a couple slow dancing. And they're not even looking at the stage. You're giving them that moment. You're giving them that experience. And when the artist like Teddy or whoever looks out and sees that happening, where everybody's on their feet, nobody's sitting down, people are engaging, they're crying, they're falling in love. Now you're coming through. And that starts from having enough respect for the music and for yourself to learn how to play discipline. I mean, it's been hours that Man and I would be in there with headphones on, maybe not even speaking to one another because he's over there, I'm over here, and we might stop and get food, but we get back. I mean, we're not headphones off and the monitor's jamming. I mean, we have headphones on, like literally with our notepads and programming sounds, like being sound maestros and sound gurus. So all of that is, I mean, if you get your own trio, your own group, then that's different. But when you're getting hired to play for an artist, your job is to serve that music, for sure.
Yeah, what's crazy is I had a current, it wasn't a challenge, but it took me back to the Teddy days is when I did Chromeo. Because, they play and produce all their stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's electro funk, it's synthy, it's Junos, it's, it's Moogs, it's like, real hardcore synths. And it's like, we had 30 tunes to learn, what I'm saying? And it's like, we grew up knowing Teddy music, at least if our parents was playing. You had some idea. Exactly. But when you got 30 records you never heard of in your life, and it's like real strategic synths and like, I mean, it's like, oh, no, with the hi-hat, and Rashid's an amazing drummer. And they were like, so actually they sent us the songs. It was like 30 titles of the songs. We learned them. Then they sent me 30 Pro Tools sessions, which were different arrangements with no lead vocal. Ooh. Then I put the 2-track of the iTunes to at least line the vocals up so we would know where we were and at least know where parts was moving. Then we went back and learned the music that way. And then once they came into rehearsal, it was like, now we want to hear you guys play how you want to play it. And we're like so, we had to like blend the two, and it would be like, can you just like, even in programming, it was like, yo, can you pan this one synth 2? I'm like, 2? Like, wow. When you think it's not even noticeable to the ear, it's just like, all right, like 0.5 dBs, and they like real meticulous. And it's like I said, that was the biggest challenge I've had in a long time. And not because I couldn't do it, but it was just, like you said earlier, it's very rare that the producer is the actual artist and they really that hands-on. Like, and we're not even talking about just producing. We talking about the mixing, the front of house, the programming, the panning, the whole thing.
The whole thing. It stretches you.
Yeah. So in the more recent, I know you've been doing the K-pop thing, man. That's like whole, like, talk about that, because that's something I ain't done yet. I ain't gonna lie, I would love to do a K-pop gig just because it's different culture. But speak on that.
Okay, yeah, I mean, it's so unknown to us being Black Americans. We're like, okay, what's going on over there? And I know you were happy for me. We talked offline, but there was a lot of people that I hadn't heard from that are up, and we would call like our heroes, our big bros, that came and reached out like, yo, like, that's kind of cool. And that's when I knew, like, okay, I don't know if we talked to you, but you notice it's like, yo, how'd you get out here? Yeah, it's like, yo, where you come from? Oh, okay. But they were so interested. And so basically where it came from was years ago, I had a manager, and I'm only going back here to show you guys the importance of relationships. I had a manager who was, when I was T.I., Diddy, some of the gigs you helped get me on, I won't call any of that for your respect out of you, but you helped recommend me for some things, and you put me right in the chair, which I was thankful for. But so she represented me on a lot of those accounts. And basically we got to a point, her and I, in our relationship, where she started growing. She got a reality TV show, and her clientele started growing, and some of the things I needed personally didn't work out. And so I asked her if we could move on, if she could remove me from her site, things like that. And so because I did it, y'all listen to me, because I didn't get in my feelings. I had OGs that I called and said, listen, I don't know if me and my management is really clicking. What's the best way? They talk. So that's why it's important to have a big brother, to have an OG, because they'll talk you off the ledge, especially if it's a veteran. They've been there before. So someone helped me with that conversation, and I presented to her properly in a way that however many years later, almost 10 years later, I was on the road with Keith Sweat coming off stage, and she texted me and said, hey, I may have an opportunity for you. And she was real vague at first, because I guess the situation was a little sensitive in terms of what they were going to do with the guy who was there. Yeah. So she was just soft checking. What's your schedule looking like? Maybe there, maybe there. So a few months later, turned in, okay, we'll send your passport just so I have that ready if they need that. Then I think a few months later, she's like, okay, it's an international artist, but she was still wouldn't tell me who it was. And then I'm thinking, like, maybe it's Nicki Minaj or Rihanna or, someone here that travels. But I didn't know. Finally, when she revealed, she said, listen, this is a long-term situation in terms of working with this company that puts on these K-pop groups, and basically you sign on with them or you do business with them, and then they put you where the priority is for whatever artist that they have going on. I'm like, wow, that sounds kind of cool, because for job security, we're always stuck on what the artist is doing that we're particularly working with. Well, this one was almost like if you were getting hired to be like an executive at a label. Now you're dealing with all the artists on the label. So that's kind of how it is. So I guess before my coming into the band, somebody who knows somebody got in contact with 4 Black American band members here from all over this state, this country, and got a Black Pro Tools guy. And they thought that was the important piece of their sound, having brothers behind them playing, even though it's Korean pop. And so that's what's kind of made them a little different than some of the other K-pop groups, because they have that energy and that aggression that we play with as African Americans. And so that made it very particular, but very special. So Yeah, I mean, I had to go through the auditions of sending. It wasn't like a formal audition, but it was like, I guess in the show they wheel out this baby grand piano, and the gentleman that was there, he plays, and the artist sits on the piano. That was a very big moment, so they wanted to know whoever they were bringing in, could they handle that? So luckily, you know, I got the baby grand downstairs, so they was like, hey, can we hear you play some stuff? So I sent the video, and the first video they critiqued it like, can you do something a little more, you know? So I was like, oh, okay, cool, you're looking for that, because I played a cover tune. They wanted to hear, no, we're going to give you a spot. Like, they're very big in Korean pop of letting the artist shine. You get a solo, we go put the spotlight on you. So I played a pop tune by Queen that allowed me to show my dexterity, but they were like, no, that's a Queen thing. We want something that you could actually play during our show, be creative. So I sent them that, and it's probably about another week or so, 2-3 weeks, and they called me and let me know I was in. And from there, all the traveling that you and I have done, Man, all the places that we've been in Japan, the tours we've done with Teddy and things like that, working with a Japanese crew, working with that language barrier of you need things done. You know, we're very technical, but we were, as kids, learning how to communicate with those people from whether if it was we were in Japan or Iraq or anywhere that we went, we learned how to communicate, you know, with other people. And so they didn't know the history. So they're like, oh, are you okay with this? I have a Korean tech, I have a Japanese tech. So, but it's been a journey. But that's basically how it came about. And ever since then, it's a stadium tour. You know, they tour all over playing stadiums, and it's been great. It's been great, man. It's been great. But that's basically how the inception of it came. And now it's the fans have embraced me. The companies that, you know, they've embraced. I mean, obviously because of COVID, we're a little down, but you know, they're trying to get us back working because they have COVID a little more under control than we do here in the States. So it's more than likely that we'll go back to work soon, provided that the borders will be able to get out and move around, you know?
Yeah.
But it's been a blessing, man.
So now let's tie the past and the present together, and we'll talk about the blessings and curses of the internet.
Right.
Because I mean, you know, we didn't really have the internet as a crutch. Like, we didn't have Instagram. We didn't have. I mean, I think Twitter was just kind of, you know, doing its thing. Twitter and
back when we first started, it was like MySpace.
Yeah, we were MySpace.
It might have been the early ages of Twitter, but it was definitely just MySpace, maybe Black Planet.
And you know, I think people just need to capitalize on it in the right ways and just realize, like, everything you do on the internet is like a digital resume. Because, like, I know a lot of people hit me up like, yo, you know, we need a guitar player for this. I'm like, all right, bet. What's his Instagram? I'm like, oh man. Hope he ain't got nothing crazy up there, because this is a female artist. Is he calling women bees in every post? Like, what is he doing? Like, you know, and people don't really understand how important that is. So talk about, like, I know you've been posting different arrangements for people to learn, and just like different things you have. I know you, like, I guess, like, quote unquote, I want to say, like, mentor, and you critique their work. Like, talk about that and how important it is. How you we had it like, we were kind of thrown into the fire, but talk about how important it is to, you know, have that person in your life, or, you know, that opportunity.
Well, for the people listening, you know, like I would say, when Man came on with us, he was a tech, and we were playing. Now, he was already working with John Legend's crew, but he was, you know, working as a tech for us because, you know, you're just multifacetedly talented. And once I heard you play keys, I'm like, man. And Teddy was like, yeah, he's cold, right? I'm like, man. Now, back in that day, though, a lot of techs could play. That was a part, like, you could play because it was like, you know, techs were the guys that just didn't have that A+ thing. They were like the homies in training. So you bring them up. That's important, because a lot of y'all are there thinking you want to be ready for that. It's like, no, you would learn as a tech.
Yeah, you learning everything.
But obviously what you had was so much more elite, so much more special. But the thing that I noticed was helping you and all of us working together as a family. They were, I mean, from me to Gene to Demetrius to Teddy, you know, you had so many big brothers in one band that knew the terrain, that had been there, and you got a lot from just being around. What I noticed, and I was talking to Valdez about this, nowadays, if you're not around a good coach, you're going to miss all of those stories and all of that upbringing, all that training. Yeah. So you might go to an open call audition. You may not know how to look the part. You not know how to play the patterns, or it's like a new world of how we've already known. It's a walk of life for us. You guys come in blindfolded and then you leave. Like, what did I do wrong? So I don't know. I mean, the Lord has been putting it on my heart more where now with the age of the internet, you can find, I mean, all the greats from the Corey Henrys to the, yada, 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 people that are just playing, bass virtuosos, Chris Dave and the drum stuff. You can get the different things that inspire you, but what I didn't see was people really giving back with the knowledge. And I'm not saying that those guys don't. I'm saying in terms of being able to be on YouTube or Instagram, I felt like, okay, well, out of the people that are working at this professional level, I want to be a part of the movement of raising my hand and just doing my part to help. Which a lot of the OGs was kind of like, you're kind of giving what's special about when they get to the road. I'm like, but a lot of these people nowadays won't get that chance because there's not even as many artists to even get a job for. I mean, think about how many artists there are that you can actually, I mean, back when me and you was running, it's like, I'm doing John Legend this week, or I'm doing Usher this week, and then we come back and do a Teddy gig. And you be like, yo, how was that Usher gig? I'm like, how was that John gig? It's not. So I'm showing you guys listening that at one point, Man and I playing for God, playing for Black Sheep, playing for Aaron Hall. He also had John and the Pharrell stuff. I also had Usher and the Chris Brown stuff. We had a plethora of gigs within the gig. So we would come back and talk about the other things. Now it's like, it's hard to, especially with the COVID thing. So I was just like, let me try to train and raise and inspire it, not just the cats that are in my Rolodex, but the guys that need a shot. And so I started Unknown Killers, which, it's just almost like a consultation type thing. I'll allow guys to showcase their talent. And then constructively, I'll tell them from a music director standpoint what we're looking for or what works, what doesn't work. And they appreciate that. But that's basically where that came from, that whole idea of just wanting to give back. And so they, I'll post and show love. And some gigs have came of it. Cats hit me up, hey, who's that? I don't know, he's a young guy. Where's he from? He's from D.C. Oh, okay, we think people have gotten hired. So I think it's important that we continue to, I don't know if people have thought this way, but it's like if you see myself, Man, cats like that trying to help, don't get discouraged if it doesn't happen overnight. Oh, they're just trying to,
but you know me, like that's just part of my culture, like especially in Philly. I'm calling, I'm calling all the homies.
Listen, between you, between E-Trib, the music director for Blackpink, Omar, he's a Philly boy. It's like, to be honest, and Blackstone, I mean, listen, Black was calling me for gigs way back in the day. Like, it's just crazy that Philly, man, and I've always used Philly as the staple for a lot of the stuff that I've went through in my personal city, Buffalo, a lot of the things that I've experienced in Atlanta. I'm like, yo, we should all pattern ourselves. I'm not just saying that because we on. I'm saying Philly has done a lot for my career, and Philly has also showed me the way of how to be. It was weird because, like, Philly talked about each other even behind each other's backs positive. See, it's one thing for me to praise you because you looking at me in my face, man. But for me to be somewhere like, yo, you don't know Man, he a Philly boy. I mean, the way you guys support one another is just stupid. I've seen a lot of people fake jacks in each other's face, but you guys were doing it from afar. Oh, man, you play with such and such on drums? Yeah, he a Philly boy. Like, y'all do such a thing where in some cultures, or I'm going to say most cultures, you hear, I mean, he cool, but it's something negative that follows. Y'all wasn't doing that. And I'm not saying it doesn't.
But, like, my whole thing has just been, even, like, with the show, and it's crazy that you hit on it earlier, like, I've just been big on relationships. I've been big on, like, leading with love. Like intentions, like what's your end goal intention? And that's how I know how to deal with you. You know what I mean? And a lot of people don't even realize, like some people think down the line, like, all right, you cool right now. I'm talking to you, but I'm fast forward. We through rehearsals, we through production rehearsals, we on the tour bus. Do I like you now? That's how far ahead I'm thinking. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like that type of thought process, man. So with the Unknown Killers, I know you got the whole Patreon thing going on. So, like, I know what it's about, but let them watching know what's going on with the Patreon and how they can get down and,
Yeah, so I'm one of those, and this is just a personal thing for me. I'm one of those guys that because of, my 20 plus years in the game, I'm just getting older, so now I'm not as accessible, right? It's like, unless my brother Man's throwing something or Black hits me, people that I respect, come through. They already know I'm probably not going to play. I'm going to probably just be in the back chilling, but I'll come through and show support. It's just my way to relax. I probably just got finished mixing for 15 hours. I probably just got done programming. So I'm not coming to jump on a keyboard. I'm coming just to show my face. But it's very rare that I keep a tight knit thing. And so for the most part, even that weighed on my heart. And I'm like, you know what? I'm so closed in, whether if I'm on the road in my hotel room or if I'm just at home in the man cave, just, you know, being diligent to my craft. I feel like, and I don't know, man, I've heard you talk about this, but when we're doing what we do, sometimes we feel like the kid that's stuck in the house that can't go out and play with their friends. Because while John's band is waiting on you to do all the arranging, you actually have to sit down and get it done and mix and then meet with him and then get all his edits and revisions. And so while everybody's partying and having a good time, you know, we're the ones, I mean, it's like heavy as the head that wears the crown. So for me, in order to stay sane and keep a youthful thing happening, I also need just my unwind time, whether it's playing video games, whether it's watching movies. So with that being said, knowing that I'm not the guy that you're going to see at a normal shed or, oh, this people's in town, Young World's going to be there. No, I'm probably not. So what I did was I just started a movement, a private club that I could commit to that allows me to answer all the questions that a lot of the cats, I felt like there's a language barrier between cats like Man and I who have the information and the young cats that need the information. Or some of the veterans, you know, meaning you've been playing for a while, but you're not a professional in terms of working in that lane. There's a language barrier because if you're old on your instrument, meaning you've been playing a while and you didn't get opportunity, you kind of feel embarrassed, like, oh, I'm getting a little old, ain't nobody gonna play with me. And then if you're young, and you feel like, yo, these old heads ain't trying to look out and all this other stuff. So those that are brave enough, I check my Facebook, I check my Instagram. I was like, wow, a lot of these cats are asking the same questions. Or I noticed I would go on live on Facebook, whatever, and speak for 15, 20 minutes, and then cats would hit me the next day. Yo, that was amazing how you spoke. And I'm like, I'm talking about stuff me and Man just laugh about, like stuff and I and I'm like, they don't know. Okay. They don't know. So the Patreon just came about. It's just basically a private club where, you know, if you can subscribe and you want to support, you come over and I'm answering questions. I'm doing one-on-one video chats like what Man and I are doing. That is exclusively for the people that want that opportunity. I'm posting downloadable show tracks, show arrangements that I've done for the TLCs, the new editions, the Chris Browns, you know, things that get you guys excited about downloading and playing and checking. You see, me and Man, we didn't have all these different opportunities. I'm giving you guys show arrangements.
I don't even really remember getting copies of rehearsal.
None of that. Like if you think about how much work we've done, we don't have the most we have is shows. No,
Teddy, we didn't get no rehearsal recordings. Wow, now that I think about it.
Bro, we
probably had show recordings.
Bro, that's what I'm saying. Out of all of our years gigging together, over all the decades, I may have like 3 shows with us playing together or something.
I know I only got one, the LA show.
The LA?
Yeah, I got the Forum. I got the LA Forum.
I have an Adidas show. Remember when we went over to Teddy with Adidas, and it was all the background singers doing.
I got that one. I got that one too. Japan. I got that one too. I got that too. I got those two.
One, and then I got. I think we were playing with either Blackstreet. It might have been Blackstreet or a guy, and it was. I think my same band. I think myself, you, Sleepy, but it was just we were playing, you know, with the actual artist at that time. I'll check my iTunes, but yeah, the way we the way we had to get information. We had notepads, we had pens, we had dictaphones that we were recording to. We didn't have, I mean, if Man knew about a tape or I knew about a tape, it was just that, a tape. Yo, did you get that George Duke DVD? Did you get that live in concert?
Yeah, that was it.
VHS tapes.
We was in iTunes sharing. iPhones wasn't even out yet.
No, that's what I'm saying. So it's like, so the Patreon is just a place to come and get fed. You can talk to me offline. You have direct access to me, and then I'll be critiquing. I haven't gotten to certain things yet because the launch is not even it's not even a month old yet. It's still just 3 weeks and something old. I'll get to breaking down video equipment and, you know, in terms of watching someone play a song and critiquing them live on video so you can see that. I'll get into the things that Man and I do, the layering and the sound designing. I mean, me and Man, I know he's did it with his friends, but we used to have like sheds or battles. Like, it's funny that the versus is going on because me and Man used to do that. We'd scroll, and whatever sound you land,
sound they land on while we
gotta be authentic. But you got a solo. But I ain't talking about just whipping off your favorite. If you had a flute, you had to solo like a flute. And I'm like, oh, so Man goes crazy like a flute with the articulations of a flute player, and I'm scrolling, and I get something like marimba, and I'm like, but now I gotta and man, I'm like, oh, and that's just how we challenge. I mean, it trains you sonically, even the feeling in your fingers that you get. We were very,
because I think what it also helped us do, it helped us maintain our independence as players. But it sharpened us as far as approach, because you know, we had to think different. Like, because you were playing mains, so you had the classical and like the chords, and then we had Sweet Fingers, Demetrius playing the strings and the chords, and then I'm just like, all right, I gotta just fill in everything else, which was like complete opposite thinking of phrasing and, you know, rhythms going off Los recipes, like, you know what I'm saying? That was
over the top of everything. You were the key, because I felt like we were foundation, me and Sweet Fingers, and then you played all the pretty stuff, and it just, you know, still to this day, cats like Keith Sweat or Johnny Gill, they would listen to us play and they'd be like, sounds like one man. It sounds like a Stevie Wonder type guy. It said, but you cease to realize it's three people playing this cohesive part. To me, it sounded like when I was learning like Floetry show, and I would hear Parrish playing something in his left but soloing in his right or something. It's that type of vibe that we had where, I mean, it was godly full for it to just be a left hand, but what I'm saying is structurally, we weren't clashing. It was such one voice that we had that you could almost mistake it for nowadays it being one keyboard player playing with programming. See, back then, we didn't have stuff in the tracks.
We didn't even have a click. We didn't have a click.
Tell the story.
CDJs.
Yo, people don't understand. They're like, what? We're like, we had 3 and 4, you know, hi-hat count-ins, and we were in. And then we had to listen for a percussion or something in the track that let us stay in time, or either we would just lock on something that the, you know, DJ was scratching. But we didn't have talking. We were coming off of wedges. I don't even think we had ears.
We had none of that. We didn't even have ears. We was on wedges. Stage was loud as all get up.
Yo, but we were just, so that's another thing. Let's talk about that. I talk about this on Patreon. Drummers, everyone, don't get so used to the click. Learn how to play without it. To me, even to this day, I hear the click as a percussion. I don't try to lock it. And sometimes if I see a drummer, I'm working with one now that I won't call his name, but it's like, hey, bro, you too stiff. You too up and down. The
click is a guide.
That's it. And it was really used for open space. You would have that count in there to kind of keep everything together. Well, when I play with Usher, Valdez is so old school, we would hit a bomb, boom, and then bang. And I'm talking about my piano had to be on with lighting cues and everything else. And I'm looking at Valdez. He's like, you got to feel it. You got to feel it, you know? And so those techniques, as old school as it may sound, it helps you really along the way. Because if you're on the gig,
and once you get to the clicks and all that, it just makes it like
makes it
okay.
It makes it like such a second nature. So we talk about, the importance of Patreon is, Man and I can get on and talk all day long about this because we have that relationship. I feel like there's a lot of guys that I haven't had the chance of meeting yet, but I know that they do want to learn. So I was like, let me create a neutral place. So if I get the same questions 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times, I can just talk about it once. Everybody can come and eat and get fed and then do what they will with it. But these are the things we talk about: playing with the clicks, not playing with the clicks, being a player, being a sound designer, when it's necessary to play, when it's necessary to just lay back and play the part. All these different examples of a push-pull type thing so that the magic happens. Like when I listen to you with John, it's such a conversation going on that you're holding something that you may go off and play something pretty, then you come back and catch like, wow, how did he know to do that? I'm like, it's that feeling that you get of just learning what the record needs, what it calls for, knowing your artists, what they'll allow. It's like all those different things. So basically, in a nutshell, the Patreon is just a school, basically, that you just come and it's for us, and nothing's off limits. And then I share a few personal stories, some that'll make you cry, some that'll make you laugh, just things that let you know that we're human. You know, I think cats see you on the transparent. Cats see us on the stage, and sometimes they don't know the journey. They don't know about the things we went through to get there. And so I'm talking about investing your money, not spending your per diem. I'm talking about, how to go about not being so buddy-buddy with the artist that they don't respect you when it's time to negotiate your next, rate, because they feel like, okay, I have to respect them as a professional and not a friend. We're talking about your appearance, your hygiene, how you take care of yourself on the road so that you're appealed, because we're on stage as well. And not so much that, but you kind of hit on it with the whole, when I get off the stage and I'm on the bus after, that's the same thing with the artists. When you're working closely with them, you're their friends. If they want to go to a dinner, if they want to go roller skating, if they want to have you meeting their family, it's show business. You have to look the part. They have to feel comfortable enough having you in close quarters, I'm sure you've been one-on-one with John, shoulder to shoulder. He's got to want to be comfortable. He can't be, okay, you're talented, but you look, like you don't have much going, you smell awful. So we talk about all the unwritten rules of just being a professional. People send me videos all the time.
For sure with John, I've been put in some of the most different positions in life. Like from the BET Awards to I don't know, a club show to the White House to the Oscars,
let me speak on this too real quick while you're talking. And I'm just being transparent, I was a keyboard guy. And man, he helped me with all my rigs. We would always sit together. And sometimes when we got real good, I wouldn't even tell him what I wanted. He'd just be like, when you get to the venue, I'm gonna surprise you. And he would set up all these keyboards I didn't order. I'm like, what is all this? He had me looking like Larry Dunn. He like, don't worry about it. I got you, right? So once Man and I, we might have been on a break or something. And I hope you remember this, but Man came to Atlanta. He played Chastain Park with John. And so Man was like, bro, you got to pull up. I'm like, of course. So I come out the house. He takes care of me. I'm at sound check. I didn't just show up at the gig with 15 of my boys. I came just myself, hang with my bro. Well, I'm at sound check, and the first thing he does, he pulls me on stage. He goes, play my Rhodes. It's Scarby. I'm like, Scarby, what's that? Again, I'm only playing keyboards. I sat down, y'all, and played that Rhodes. I just looked at him like, he was like, yo, can you imagine playing that every night? And so what I'm saying is, long story short, I thank you, because one of the most questions that people want to know is when they see me now, especially on the K-pop, they're like, I got the DVD. You're playing keyboards I'm familiar with, but you're not playing sounds I've ever heard come out of those keyboards. I'm like, because you don't see the laptop or the, you don't see the laptop. You don't see what board is MIDI to what. So you're looking at me playing the Jupiter 80, but it's talking to a board that's over here, tilted down. You don't see that. My mains is coming from here. My strings is coming from the laptop. It's so many different things so that's also what you learn in the Patreon. Still a lot of people that's like, well, is that Jupiter 80 stronger than the sounds in your laptop? I would think that the Jupiter 80 is faster. I'm like, cool. Plug your phone into your laptop. Watch how fast it charges. Plug your phone into your keyboard. Watch how fast it don't charge. And you're going to see which one has more power. Meaning, when Man and I are playing those pianos out this laptop, those are hyper sampled. That's as close as you're going to get. For the sound cards and different things, the synth engines in these keyboards, they have to compress the sounds a bit in order to put it in this package. But with the memory and the power of a laptop, man, you're playing as close as it can get to just having a real baby up there. And then when you really know how to
question. Look, random question. I don't talk keyboards on this show, but I will ask you this. Have you tried the new Phantom?
No, but what I did do is I sat on the phone with Valdez Brentley for about 4 hours on FaceTime Zoom thing, and he played just about every patch. And the one thing I'm going to tell you guys, and we can get back to just talking regular, but the one thing I'm going to tell you guys about that, Val was going through, I mean, I haven't seen it, but he said it's thousands of patches in each bank. I know you know. He was saying, dig, guys, because all of the cool stuff is usually not, look, dig, guys, because all of the cool stuff ain't in the front. It ain't patch number 36, 38. He's it's patch 2000. And so he said it's tedious. He said, but take the time to go through each bank in every sound. I know Man does that all the time, because look, when you're in with these artists and you got to program a sound, it's nothing worse than knowing exactly what it is, but you can't remember where you heard it, where it came from. When you take the time to go through the keys and see what's in it, then you can say, because I've seen Man playing boards and people ask me, yo, why is he playing that old XP? And I'm like, you don't know what's in there? Like, you don't know why he's doing that? Well, no, I've never really played it before. You do. I know people who seen you with John, and I think you or somebody, I think you was playing a Fender Rhodes or something. They were like, why ain't he just playing it on the keyboard? I'm like, and that person had never even played a Rhodes before. And I'm like, come on, young people. Like, you've never played a Fender Rhodes. Come on now.
But you know what, though? I think the biggest misperception, though, is, you know, when you're working with an artist, especially if it's a budget and you're renting backline, you get what you need to do the gig.
That's right.
This is not a local gig. I don't have to fit everything into two keyboards. I don't have to.
That's right. And with Val, I'm sharing Val because I know he's kind of like an urban legend. A lot of people have heard about him on Usher, but a lot of people haven't got to have access to him, which is another thing I do on my Patreon. I'll be interviewing Man as well. I'll be interviewing Teddy.
Of course, count me in.
You know what I mean? I'll be interviewing people there's a lot of people that ask me about you. Man, that's your boy. Because they haven't seen me and you together in a long time. They're like, you know Man from John Legend? I'm like, what are you talking about? His little son is my nephew. That's my brother. But it's one of those things. But it's one of those things where that's why I want to share these stories that you don't get. Like what Val was saying, basically, a lot of these instruments are available. They're at the place and they're available to be ordered, but you just don't think to get these keyboards. But a lot of these places have already invested in upright pianos, acoustic pianos, Fender Rhodes, Wurlitzers. Put it on your backline, put it on your wish list. Like you said, this isn't, when you get to our level, it's not a local thing. You know, this is the cream of the crop where if that's what you need to be authentic to the record, they're going to make sure you're the production manager, whoever's in charge, they're going to make sure you have that. I was impressed when I did B.O.B. and he had a song, John Doe, and I was playing on Good Morning America, Queen Latifah, and I'm like, at the time, I didn't have a decent piano library. And I'm like, I don't want to sound like I'm playing a keyboard. You know, I want to be true. And I just threw an upright Yamaha on there, and I'll be doggone. It was one right in SAR.
He said, well, if it's a keyboard or a piano, I'll play it. But you get there, and it's the real deal.
Yeah, man. So, but in a nutshell, that's what Patreon is. We kind of kick it like this. I mean, it's not a lot of one-on-one stuff. It's basically when you go over there, I have pre-things already downloadable, all ready to go, audio stories, the whole nine. And it just gives you a direct access with me, emails, the whole nine. And then I will feature this as well. Like I said, it's not even a month old. So if y'all haven't subscribed, please come over. Man will be there shortly. A lot of your favorite musicians, and then the off-brand, the engineers, talking about sonic sound, mixing, blending, the tour managers teaching you about etiquette and being on time and, you know, how to get fired, being the most talented guy in the room. If you haven't took those professional things about, you got to keep, it's one thing to get a gig because, you know, you're talented. It's another thing to keep it. And that's how you get a career.
I always tell people, you know, I'm grateful for a lot of the other things I've done, but I'm more grateful for like the longevity of certain things. Like, you know, John, I'm going on, 15 years. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's been nothing but great, and, off script, business wise, everything is in line, and people just, like you said, this relationship it's a lot. And people, as you can see, this is my brother, like for real.
Oh, yeah.
So we can talk forever and ever and ever. And honestly, I'm looking at the time like my editor about to kill me. But y'all, I think this gonna have to be a part two. We got to get Omar. We gotta get everybody up on here and do a whole big family zone too, man, and get a good one in there.
Let's do it.
Y'all, stay tuned. Make sure y'all tune into his Patreon. Make sure y'all tune into everything he's doing. Unknown Killers. You might be one of those unknown killers watching. So send your stuff in. Let's get this thing cracking. That's Young Wurld, Eugene Man Roberts, a.k.a. the mayor. Town hall meeting with the man. We out of here.
Yeah, deuces.
Yo, baby. I want to get with you.
So my professional journey started with my big brothers, Damian Hall, Aaron Hall, and Teddy Riley. Guy. And so my next tour were with my big bros, Blackstreet. But it was crazy because... And so there were these two calls that I got in my lifetime that I just knew I was gearing up to work with the King of Pop. So this was the call that I actually almost turned down, simply because, yeah, man, Usher was the dream call for me. I believe the first gig they called me for was Oprah, but it didn't work out because Now, can you imagine what it's like being the music director for the Five? And then you add the wild card, Bobby Brown. The truth of it is, just as much as Guy, Blackstreet, New Edition has helped raise me in this game, you got to put Tony in there as well. Basically, they took me in when I was a kid and made me a part of their Oakland family. And I'm thankful for those guys. So yeah, I actually had the opportunity to work with the original four and In Vogue, as well as Rona. And yeah, basically Brooke Payne from New Edition, he allowed me the opportunity at a very young age, and I'm thankful for that. Man, Coco, Lily, Taj, those are my big sisters, man. They know that. They'll tell you that. Yep, they've been around since the beginning. Watched me grow up in this industry as a kid. Crazy. Man, everybody want to know what it's like to work for Diddy. Puff didn't intimidate me. I actually thought he was pretty funny. But one thing about Puff, he gonna make you better.
Yeah. I told y'all. A lot of knowledge. Like I said, that's one of my big homies, man. I love Young World. Young World, my brother. So let's tap into what I call you guys showing us what you got. AKA rolling hashtag at home. Yes, hashtag rolling at home. Hashtag. Let's see what y'all got. hopefully you guys enjoyed those cool pieces of content with the hashtag rolling at home people. Hey guys, make sure you post the hashtag. We want to feature you. I want to see what you got. I want to see you on my show. Come on people. But I want to thank Roland Live Studios. I want to thank Roland. I want to thank my bro Joel getting the edits. Man, you see this graphic? That's my man Joe. Shout out to Nelly. Shout out to Kristen, Brian, Igor, the whole team. But thank you guys for tuning in. Stay tuned for next week's another episode of Town Hall Meeting with who? Me, the mayor, Eugene Man Roberts. I'm out.